And we have the capacity within ourselves, each of us, for healing. That is what the body is made to do. It is built to heal. And the mind has the capacity to heal. And so what we're doing is really giving you tools and giving you a container to help the individual access their interior tools.
Welcome to the world of energy, where science meets spirit. Ancient wisdom merges with cutting-edge knowledge, and the possibilities for a healthier, happier you are endless.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Energy Works. Lauren and I are together at Hollyhock on Cortez Island, halfway through, about maybe a hair more than halfway through the retreat we're leading, and we are doing some audio-only podcasts. So this is our second one. It will only be available in the audio format, and we are in the vibe of retreats, and so we get a lot of questions about retreats while we're here, and people, what's fun about coming to a place like this is there are several, probably more than half of the people didn't really know us, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And so it's like, who are you? What else do you do? Where else do you go? Versus when we're in our EM Yoga Stars community, which is online or in a teacher training or something like that. It's people who already know us. So there are new people, and we're just talking about all the different retreats and things we do. So we're in the retreat energy, and in New York in October, Lauren and I are co-leading a retreat that is very different than any retreat we've ever led before. It's in a place neither of us have, or have you taught it?
I've taught there many times.
Oh, you have taught at Omega.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've never taught at Omega.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought maybe I just transferred them. I haven't taught there too. Yeah. You haven't taught there. So Lauren's taught there many times. I have never taught there. So we've never taught there together. And it'll be my first time to be on that campus in October. So I thought we'd share a little bit about that.
Yeah. And, it's interesting because here we are on retreat in full retreat vibe, energy, and all of it. And that encapsulates lazy afternoons and swimming in the ocean and wearing little sundresses because it's really, really hot right now. And Omega is a different kind of retreat. It's a retreat/training. Actually, maybe training/retreat would be a better way of saying it. The retreat part is that you're removing yourself from your day-to-day to anchor in and learn something totally new. Although some of the people may have some experience already, but to learn something new and different in a setting where you can really immerse yourself and learn and transform and then take it back into your community. So the training part of it is, this is the first time we have trained, we're going to have to come back with numbers sometime. We'll talk about, that'll be a fun podcast, numbers, but we've trained hundreds of students around the world in energy medicine yoga. Most of them, for the largest part of the existence of energy medicine yoga, most of them were already yoga teachers. And then we taught them how to incorporate energy medicine yoga into what they already did. A 4-day training, but you already had your 200-hour training. This year is the first year Blaine spearheaded a 200-hour, which is, if you've never studied to be a yoga teacher before, that's the ground zero, is a 200-hour training. And Blaine spearheaded a 200-hour energy medicine yoga teacher training. So you would learn what all the other yoga teachers learn, but with the energy medicine yoga spin already from the get-go. So you don't have to learn how to add it in because you're learning it from the very beginning. So predominantly, and then we have advanced training programs. We have a 300-hour. So we, train you all the way up to, 500 hours of energy medicine yoga education. But what we've never done before is lead any kind of training for people who aren't yoga teachers and have no desire to become a yoga teacher, how can they bring this very powerful work, which is called energy medicine yoga? How can you bring that into your community and into your own life if you're not already a yoga teacher? And so we designed this course specifically for that person, for you listening right now who's like, I'm not a yoga teacher, but, and that's what started this idea that we're going to present at Omega. And our workshop starts at the very end of Eden Method. Our teacher, our lineage, who is Donna Eden, will be beaming in to teach part of a weekend workshop where all of her senior teachers will be there on campus, an introduction to Eden Energy Medicine. And then Omega wanted us to kind of tag team at the end of that because my work, our work, the work of energy medicine yoga directly comes from Donna's work, integrated into a traditional yoga practice. So we are the 5 days after that introduction weekend and teaching a very powerful, dynamic workshop. Blaine, you want to talk a little bit about what that is?
Yeah, yes, I will. So as Lauren said, it's a concept that has, like whack-a-mole, like little, it pops up and it pops up over here and it pops up over here. This idea that, or the question maybe, like the question, hey, I'm not a yoga teacher, but what can I do? It's a question from people who want to be leaders, or, that maybe they're already energy healers, they have their own community, or maybe they're therapists. They have some sort, they already teach in some way, or share healing with communities. You don't have to have that to take this training, but that's where the seed was born. I'd like to share the energy medicine yoga work in my practice, or at retreats I lead that aren't yoga retreats. There are other types of healing modality retreats, or I'm a physical therapist with my clients, or chiropractor, or what have you. And so we sat on this for quite a long time. And then I guess I had the idea that we could take one of Lauren's books and distill it into a workshop, and then teach people how to teach the workshop, and then have them be licensees to go and teach the workshop. So we went with Lauren's third book called The Energy to Heal, which is a trauma healing book, and did exactly that. The book is full of techniques and practices for you to read the book and do on yourself. That's how the book was designed. And so this is all of that material kind of condensed into a workshop where you have a facilitator standing at the front of the room and leading everyone through an experience that is their own. Trauma is a strong word. Like I feel like it doesn't have to be this, a large trauma, but an imbalance in their life that is they want to resolve. Lauren's handing me the book. Stress. There we go. I feel like this is sign language audio, whatever. Find lasting freedom from stress and trauma through energy medicine yoga. But it's really, you wrote the book, but it's something that's sticky. Obviously, it's something you haven't been able to resolve yet. Like it's a thing, it's like the thorn in your side. It keeps coming up. You haven't been able to resolve it. It's disruptive to your, I'll say the word evolution. It's disruptive to your growth and your moving through the world in peace and joy. And so a person is trying to resolve their stress or their trauma so they can move through the world in peace and joy. So we created a workshop, and at Omega, we will lead people through the workshop for the first half of the training, and then we will teach people how to teach the workshop for the second half of the training. And at the end of the training, they will be licensed Energy to Heal workshop facilitators. And we're giving everyone a 1-year license for free. So part of just coming to Omega and doing it for the first time with us, you can go out into the world and teach the work with our support. And you can charge any amount that you want for it. You're not going to pay us any money and get to do that for free. And then if you want to continue, there will be a licensing model. And in the future, for new people, as we roll this out, we will have developed a licensing model. And so that's the project. I feel, I guess maybe because it was my idea, I feel really excited about it. I feel excited that we're serving a population of practitioners of energy medicine yoga who want to share the work, who we have not had a route for them to do that before.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree. We've had that come up so many times. I'm not a yoga teacher. I don't want to be a yoga teacher. That's not my dharma. That's not my path. But I love this work. And what's so interesting, uncoupling it from being a yoga teacher, is that it started uncoupled, right? It started with me studying with Donna Eden in the Eden Method for a long time before I even wrote my first book. And her work teaches you how to work with a client on a table in a clinical setting. Not exactly massage, but that's kind of the visual that you can see. You've got someone on a table. They're actually fully clothed, so not at all like massage. They're fully clothed, and you do all of these different energy testing techniques, applied kinesiology, and then help them balance their energy. But in fact, you are balancing it for them. And then you give them tools to take home so that they can kind of stay in balance. And for the whole time that I was studying with Donna, I always wanted to just do it on myself. I'm like, okay, great to do it on somebody else, but how do I do it on myself? And that was the evolution to it becoming energy medicine yoga, because I'm a yoga practitioner and am still a yoga teacher, was a yoga teacher at the time. And so, while it's not a complete uncoupling, I mean, we are not teaching Donna Eden's work. We're not teaching the Eden Method. It's certainly anchored into that. And now it's been heavily influenced by the way that a traditional yoga practice and then an energy medicine yoga practice opens up energetic pathways in the body that allow stress and trauma to release in ways that is much different from being a patient or a client on a table being worked upon. So it's like you've got more active connection to the healing that you're doing with yourself. And then what always happens, often or always, a lot of the time, maybe not 100%, so that would be always, but a lot of the time, people feel that transformation. They feel the ease that comes. You said the word trauma is really big, but I also think part of this work is to sort of destigmatize the idea that trauma is so big and that it others you and it isolates you and all the things that we experience when we have trauma. We do feel alone. We do feel isolated. We do feel othered. But the truth of the matter is, if you are in a human body, you have experienced some degree of trauma. And in the world that we live in now, well, many degrees of stress. And so those circulate through the energy systems and then start to impact the physical body if they're not resolved and released from the energy systems that give rise to the physical body. And so being able to work with your stressors or your traumas, it's sort of like that idea of like taking a stick out of your eye, or the metaphor that we use quite frequently when we talk about trauma is you can think about like a tree that falls into the river, and then the river is forced to navigate around the tree, and water will do that. It will find a way and it will carve into the bank and it will completely change the path that that river was on. And that's our lives when we are full of stress and we are full of trauma that we haven't been able to release. We keep going in our lives, but the river of our life is in a totally new direction. that's adapted to the change or reacted to the changes that have come from that tree in the river. And the ideal, if we can say there is one, is to take the tree out of the river and let the river find its original flow. Now, it's always going to be, you've heard that you can't step into the same river twice. It's always going to be a different river. The experiences that you've been through, you've always have been through, but you have an ease that is more native to your original flow of life that was there prior to the trauma or to the unremitting stress that you might be under now. And so what we find is people have that experience. They take the stick out of the eye, they take the tree out of the river, they get their life back, their autonomy back, and then they want to share that because the experience is so palpable, so real, so powerful. We were just, I had a breakfast with one of our students yesterday, and she said, I try to share little bits of this work with people, and I'm always so surprised that they are not as charged up as I am to do this work, because I found it so unbelievably transformational. Like, I can't imagine my life without this. And so that's what happens when people have that experience. So the first part of the retreat is to give you that experience, that the freedom that comes in your very being, and then to give you the tools to be able to share that with your community, with, you know, the people that are already in your life or new people. I love one of our colleagues, Karina Mirsky, has a book called Making a Living While Making a Change. So it's sort of that. It's like people spend billions of dollars on healthcare and mental health care, and we want to provide an opportunity for people to make a living sharing this very powerful healing work that is not yet reflected in that billion-dollar healthcare industry, which is not always effective, and yet we throw more and more and more money at it, right? And, you know, certainly alternative medicine is a big industry as well, but it pales in comparison to what we spend on Western medical care that, like I said, is not always effective. So that's kind of the goal and the reason behind this. And I'm excited too. I think it's a great idea. It's like, we've been told that this needs to happen. And so we just are catching up with the rest of you all that have just been waiting for it.
Yeah. I was thinking, I think I stumbled on the word trauma because I was thinking about the listener who might be like, I'm not a trauma healer. I can't, you know, so that's why I guess, you know, I know you hate capital T trauma, but, you know, I was trying to be like, it's for what we all go through. It's for real life. It's for, you know, like there's not a single person who's walking around. So that's why I was like, I didn't want it to make it sound like you're going to be a trauma healer. Yeah. Like that, but you're going to be someone who has tools to help everyone who's lived a life.
Yes. And I think that is a good distinction to make, because this is not a course for a clinical therapist to learn trauma healing. Like that is very clear. That is not what we're doing here. There are a lot of incredible techniques and practices for trauma healing, a lot of mental health that is now bringing energy practices in, such as EFT and EMDR and brain spotting, and that is powerful trauma healing work. This is definitely not that. So I think we're saying that right now. We're saying that out loud right now. This is not that. And we have the capacity within ourselves, each of us, for healing. That is what the body is made to do. It is built to heal. And the mind has the capacity to heal. And so what we're doing is really giving you tools and giving you a container to help the individual access their interior tools and start to take the stick out of their own eye. And part of the training is going to be recognizing when somebody is in your class or your course that you're teaching that might be beyond your skill set or out of your lane, and ways that you can support them in finding maybe a more trained, or I don't know how to say that, but somebody that's more trained in direct trauma healing. And so we're going to make sure, and that's part of the licensing process with us and the support that you'll get from us, is how to identify when somebody is really destabilized and might not be an appropriate person for this course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I am. Lauren knows this. I guess I love to teach trainings. I teach a lot of trainings. It's something I love working. It's mostly women. I love working with adult women. I love working with people who want to heal others. I love lifelong learners. I love being with other people who just know that they're always growing and evolving and trying to learn new things and want to help others. So I'm excited to see who shows up. It's our first time to roll it out. I'm excited to get the learnings that we're going to learn. I'm excited. I guess you always went to Omega before I was with you. And so, I didn't even know. I'm excited to go to Omega for the first time and get to be on, it's a world-renowned campus.
Yeah.
I mean, people ask you, it's like the top 3 or 4 places if someone knows you're in the yoga retreat circuit, right? Have you been to Omega? Have you taught at Omega? So the morphic field there of the legendary spiritual teachers and yogis, I'm excited to experience and walk the same ground that they've been at.
Yeah, no, for sure. It is a powerful place. There's the Ram Dass Library. It's just the temple at the top of the hill. I like what you said about the lifelong learners and helping them. And one of the things, I recorded a little video, it's on the website, on Omega's website, about this course. And I was talking about that Mr. Rogers, who says, look for the helpers when you're in a difficult situation. And, that word trauma, and we'll unpack that quite a lot at this training, but it has such a charge. And again, what you were just saying, I don't want people to feel I'm not a trauma healer. I can't do that. That's way out of my scope of practice. But the truth of the matter is there is so much that can be done to support and help other people that are going through really intense times. Again, no matter whether it's, you said, the thorn in the side, right? That's keeping you moving forward, the stressors in our lives. A lot of the support and the healing from that comes from simply witnessing, having someone see you, be present with you, hear your story, writing your story. There's all these ways that we can process and release these really intense experiences that we've had in life without having to dredge it all back up and go through it and re-traumatize ourselves. But, regular talk therapy can be very re-traumatizing. There's actually a therapy, now the name just dropped out of my head, but where it's not acclimatizing, but it's sort of like that, where you go over it again and again and again, whenever, you're afraid of spiders. And so you've got to be in a room full of spiders until you're not afraid of them anymore. That sounds horrible to me as someone who's afraid of spiders. Do not put me into a room with spiders until ultimately I'm not going to be afraid anymore. That's the painful, this is my problem with, I'm going to take a little tangent, with cold plunging. I don't like my healing to be shocking. I want my healing to be nurturing, because the pain was shocking. The stress was shocking. The trauma was shocking. I don't need to be shocked again to release it and heal it. And my belief and understanding and my own path of healing my own traumas was not shocking for the healing. The healing was the nurturing that I didn't get at the time of the trauma. That's the healing. The sharing the story with somebody that could hold and support me. That's the healing, while doing energy work so that I'm not re-traumatizing myself by even sharing the story. That's the healing. And so much of it is really gentle and nurturing and sharing in community and not going through some big, ugly, nasty, gnarly trauma event of healing. I don't feel that is necessary. If you tell me I have to be in the room of spiders, I'm going to say to you, you're not my healer, and I'm going to go away. And I encourage that for anyone that, that comes to me and asks questions about different kind of healing modalities. I'm not a fan of that modality. And I've actually even read some things that even the practitioners are like, it's gnarly. It's gnarly to have to take someone again and again and again back to that depth. And I don't feel like that's necessary. Mm-hmm. Healing can be really gentle. And in fact, I think that's the deepest healing, because the deepest wounds are when we weren't cared for. And so if we can attend to those wounds, we can heal. And that attention and that tending to those wounds is a very beautiful, sacred, and good feeling process, because you get to have the experience that you didn't have, and that heals you. And so it's really beautiful and lovely. And then to be able to facilitate that in others it's a gift. It's truly a gift to be able to do and share.
Yeah, it's the process, if you haven't read the Energy to Heal book, it's based on Chinese medicine 5-element theory, and it's a very structured process that you offer. So that's what we're offering to everybody in this formal, I guess, classroom kind of environment, how to use this structured process to help others. And no one needs to be a therapist or a chiropractor or anything. You can take it to your church, take it to your, community. You can take it. I mean, probably if you're a student at a yoga studio, talk to the yoga studio owner, rent the space, offer it there. And so it's available because it is structured and repeatable for everyone's different, I'll just say, story, who is going to be in the room with you. You don't need any special skill besides a space holder, I guess I would say, like an empathetic space holder who can follow a process.
Yeah, I'm really glad. And I love that you said it like 3 times, structured, which I didn't bring up at all. But in fact, it is a structure. And I think the value in that, the ease of sharing it becomes apparent once you see the structure. It becomes very clear that this is easy to do and easy to replicate. But that easy to do-ness, like there's some clear ways to go forward, which right then allows you to settle. And not, a lot of times we fear that we're the one that we're not going to get helped. Like this helps everybody else, but it's not going to help me because I'm different than that. I'm outside of that. But this is ancient wisdom. This is not kind of some, well, we'll just all hug and sing Kumbaya and hopefully some of you will feel better and some of you might not, and thanks for coming, right? Like it's not that at all. It's very clear. And as you do the process, it becomes clear where there are lacks in your energetic structure that you can then fill with energetic techniques. And so there's an easefulness that you can sink into and kind of a comfort in that, even though it might take a lot of courage to step forward and say, okay, I want to heal this. That does take an enormous amount of courage to do. But knowing that you're going to be held within it, and then you're going to learn to hold someone else, it's kind of magical, really. It's kind of magical.
Yeah, and that is the process, to reiterate. First, you are going to be a student and go through the whole workshop yourself. And then you will learn to be a facilitator. So you will have experienced it before you drop into the facilitation. So I hope you're interested. If you're listening, I'm excited. Lauren's excited. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun workshop at Omega. We bring a lot of joy into the room and enjoy teaching with each other. And the right people always show up. It's like a new family will be created who will be the first generation of people to go out and teach this work in this way and in partnership with us moving forward for this, this first cohort, because it's our first time to roll it out. And so we'll be quite hands-on with this group, supporting them every step of the way, because we'll be learning what we need to learn to roll it out to the second cohort and the third cohort and so forth. So if you're feeling that little tickle, that little surge of energy that I know I get when I hear about something and I think the draw forward, like I think I want to do that, or I think I want to learn a little more. I think I may be interested in this. You can go to the Omega website. We're there in October, or you can go to the Energy Medicine Yoga website and we have a little retreat link and that'll link you right to our page.
It's going to be amazing, and it's going to be intimate by design. We're going to keep it small enough that we can really have individual attention for each of you there, and that you'll have that individual attention and support over the next year. So I'm just saying that because I don't know how many people are going to hear this podcast, but if we get a flood of people, just let you know, we're going to keep it smaller and more intimate than some of our larger retreats or our online trainings where we have a little more flexibility. But we want to really give you individual support so that you feel really held through this process and feel confident holding the next iteration of students, which will be your students. So that's our goal for this. And yeah, if you feel that little tug, that little pull, then that calling, we'd love to answer that call with you. And if you have any questions about what's going to happen too, feel free to reach out to us in any of the ways that you know to reach us and ask us your questions. We also really clearly, for every training that we do, we want to make sure that it's a right fit both directions. So we want to make sure that you want to work with us and it makes sense for us to work with you as well. And so if you have questions, then reach out to us and we'll chat with you and see if it is the right thing for you. And the right people always show up, and we always create these magical, amazing families and communities wherever we go. And then that just ripples out. So we'd love you to be part of the ripples.
Yeah, I think, did we cover it all? Did we do it?
I think we did. And anything we didn't, people reach out and we'll help them figure it out what we didn't share.
All right. Well, then we'll close. Thanks, everybody. And we'll see, hear, be with you in the field next time on Energy Works. Alrighty, Energy fans, that's a wrap on another positively charged episode of Energy Works. Lauren, this is the part where we get to use our energy puns.
It's been electrifying, hasn't it, Blaine? We hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have.
If you're feeling amped up and you want to keep your energy flowing, be sure to hit that subscribe button on your favorite podcast platform.
And we'd love to hear from you. So please take a moment to leave us a review. Your feedback helps us continue to deliver content that resonates. So light up our inbox.
And spark a conversation with your friends to tell them about us. And we'll see you next time on Energy Works.